Hey guys, been a hell of a week. Pardon me, I'm running a little late today. And my last uh, live podcast that I threw in is got some copyright issues. There's no telling about what I haven't checked that. I do them live. I don't make money at this. I just have a lot of fun. It's freedom of speech. It's Stockwood without the mud. Come on, guys, jump in. I just love to talk about anything and everything. We're at my bar. Um, Apparently, if you're not in Augusta, Georgia, I doubt you can stop in. But if you are, please give me a shout. Throw it in the comments. I'll make a spot. I hope I'm not too loud. I can't never tell. I wear all the hats here. Can you tell that? Yeah, you can. You can. You're so kind. Okay, I'm gonna throw a live chat up. What you done here? You done run into wicked lady hippie at the bar. This is my bar at home. I love that. I'm retired, and we're live. We're live. No children. Got children. You don't want them to see this. Um, Army veteran, published author, crazy lady, mother of one, grandmother of two, enjoying the shit out of the fact that we can get up here and we can talk to each other live for free. Let's use our freedom of speech. Let's stand up and talk. I know everybody out there just ain't saying, oh, well, what the heck? I know some of you are going, Minnesota spent how much on my tax money? We built the underground in Gaza, and it's bigger than the underground in London. Our tax money, we didn't want to pay that shit to begin with. I think this is why they may have said some of my things couldn't not be shown in certain places. Every once in a while, I get out of control. This might be one of my every once in a while. I do like my whiskey on the rocks. My husband gets me these little airplane bottles. Um, they're whiskey fireballs with that cinnamon at the end of it. I love that shit. It's my bar. I don't have to fucking even call Uber. This is why we don't have children, because some of the army rolls out and there the word is an F bomb. It depends on the day I've had. And I've been out of day. There was so much going on the last time I was up. And again, I had to go back over that one because they're not allowing it to be aired in certain places. And that could be anything, because I do talk about anything and everything that crosses my mind. If it crosses my mind, I'm talking about it. I might hurt somebody's feelings. I try not to. It's for entertainment purposes only. Again, I do not make money doing this, but I am not adverse to doing so. So if you see me, even if you don't like me, give me a word, throw a comment in there, shoot, subscribe, tell your friends there's a crazy bitch up there at the bar. I love talking about anything and everything. I was watching. It kills me how some people go to jail for absolutely nothing but stupid. There should be a charge that cops can use and go, you know, incarcerated for stupid. So many of these now that they've got body cams, it's absolutely amazing. They'll go there to do a wellness check and end up having to arrest the person they was going to check on because they done hit him and pepper sprayed him. And I mean, not the cops doing it. This is the one they were going to rescue. And they have to get taken to jail because they've been, hitting police and spitting on police. And I'm like, what the? I've never seen so many people go to jail for stupid in my life until this. And I straddle both centuries. I was born in the 20th century. It's now well into the 21st century. And yes, I have an opinion on just about anything and everything. I am retired, meaning I just don't give a flat shit. Bring it. I get bored doing this housewife shit. I have friends, and I go down to it. I have a little Walmart by me. And I tend to, since I had to go through surgery and everything, I had a bad accident with my right leg. So I switched from wearing pants and jeans too much to more or less wearing calf length and full length dresses because it's just easier. And during that time in particular, and I mean, I can wear them now, still difficult. And everywhere I go, everybody says, "You're June Cleaver." You can't really see me hands if I can come down a little bit. The dress goes to the floor, and it's one of those flare. It's a 50s look. It's a vintage look, and I like those. At my age, they give me a little waist, big rear end, and I'm okay with that. I figure I'm making this look good at my age, and I think I just said that. That's a top secret, actually a state secret. So don't tell nobody that part. I know one time I had some music on in the background because I like to hear music when I'm doing this at the bar. And it, of course, you turned it, it's a copyright thing. Who knew? Yeah. I'm a published author, and I was like, that didn't occur to you, you idiot. So, yeah, there's certain things I have to figure out which ones I can talk about, which ones I can't talk about. But since I haven't checked on that yet, I'm just going to talk about anything, everything. So let's see, guys. Y'all are good with that Minnesota thing with them stealing all them billions of dollars. Y'all good with that? Anybody got a problem? Anybody good with that? Let's talk. Grab you a drink and jump up in here. What else have we got? Come on, at least the retirement community. There's got to be. All of us straddle 2 centuries very well. It's 2026. It's not like it's 2000. We've been in the second century of our lives for 26 years, more or less. We've learned a lot. I've learned that we've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars over a span of 50 years of driving without a single ticket, and not a penny came back. they they did nothing for us. We didn't have a ticket. We didn't have nothing. So I'm like, okay, they're screaming everybody. If you don't have a DUI, if you are not driving, say 50 miles a month, da 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 da, then your insurance should not be $189 a month. So we checked into that, and it's now $149 a month. Well, it's just giving it to them. You got to give it to them. The government says you got to give it to them. They'll come take your tag. At least they will here in Georgia. Don't get me started on Georgia. I'm from Chicago. I mentioned Army veteran. Yeah. So I ended up in Georgia. My husband is from Georgia. And this is the longest I've lived at any place. I've been in this home in Augusta for 15 years. And I look around and I go, damn. We downsized 4 times to move to this home because it was now just the two of us. It wasn't children and husbands and grandchildren, all of that. So we didn't need 4 or 5 bedrooms and all that. So, and we ended up with a split level, 2 stories, because we took my son's home because they found out when their son was 13, they were about to have a baby girl. So they went and bought a much bigger home, like 2,000 square feet that was just being built, because a lot of things have been going on here at Fort Gordon. Or I think they changed the name, but it's Fort Gordon to me. So here we are in Augusta, Georgia. Thankfully, the golf thing's not going on. Oh, Jesus. They have done a great job since I got here. This was, to me, it was like a little town like, Warner Robins. Had a lot of traffic, but it didn't have a lot of lanes, didn't have a lot of things like that. Stoplights, so forth. It didn't have a lot of things. I mean, I would get up and drive to the next exit where my son lived just to go to Walmart. And then my son said, Mom, there's 2 miles the other way. You don't have to go on my way. This is right past the highway. So now I go to the little one most of the time, but still, there was nothing out there. And now they have brought in, they brought Kelly into Warner Robins Air Force Base from San Antonio. I served at Fort Sam Houston, San Antonio, and I loved it. And I kept moving back to San Antonio after I was serving in Germany. My son was born in Germany. So there's all kinds of shit up there that crosses my mind, guys. I know everybody's tired of paying insurance and they've never had a ticket in their life and they never got a penny back. You talk about a Ponzi scheme backed by the government. They probably won't let this air somewhere anywhere either. But I'm going to say it anyway. Excuse me. So since I'm at my bar, I like to have my drink. This is one of my German shot glasses, and it'll hold pretty much one of my little airplane bottles, but there's a lot of ice in there. So, no, I'm not drinking 400 drinks when I'm up here, but there's probably a time I might do that. You never know. I don't drink as a rule. Up here, I tend to drink because I'm talking to myself, and I have to keep walking around issues that seem to have a problem as far as free speech goes because they can't be aired in certain places. Well, that's odd. Very odd. I love my stiffeners. There's a story there. Oh. I like my soda in bottles. Spoiled. I'm a hippie. That's why it says wig a hippie. It says that because it's my second channel since I had surgery and all stuff going on. It was 2 years before I actually could get on my feet. So then my first channel was kind of like on suspension, and I got it unlocked and I did all that, and it just kept going crazy. I mean, my husband kept buying me new equipment. I was like, wait a minute, I'm just going to open another channel. And so now it used to be Lady Hippy at the bar. And now I use my army. Well, my army nickname is stuck since I was 17. I enlisted in the WAC Corps on delayed entry. And when I landed, I was at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and we were regular Army. And they told us that we didn't have to stay if we didn't want to. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm not leaving. I don't turn down a challenge. Now women can be trained with the men. Yeah, about time. They should be able to fire a weapon. They should be able to carry a man wounded, all those things. But no, they had us as secretaries and nurses. So that's what I trained to be. So they loved me for that, all the COs and that, because they would have me come in and type up stuff. That's back when we didn't have Xerox. I'm not old. I only had carbon paper. Look it up, Google it. So yeah, it was like that for us. We were the first cycle of women to go through with training with the men in regular Army. Most people who are veterans know about Fort Jackson. It's a training base even today. And we're only 9 miles from South Carolina. But it's Columbia, so it's a little bit further in. And we had Vietnam Rangers, Vietnam Airborne Rangers for CEOs and drill sergeants. So, boy, they beat the shit out of us. But we women could clean like nothing. We could march. I mean, we could outdo the men. There was just in those areas. The other areas, and I told my girls, ended up going in with rank. That's another question. Don't do that. I had 2 chevrons. I was a PFC. Everybody that goes in is just a trainee. You don't have any chevrons unless you've earned them in. Yeah. They don't tell you that when you come in with rank, you are screwed. You are the one in charge then of pretty much everybody in your platoon. So when they screw up, you get shit. And I know they were trying to break us, especially with the other type where I was a gymnast, karate, ran, tennis, volleyball. We did all of that at our school. My husband says I went to a resort. I didn't go to a high school. That was just high school. And I graduated twice from it. So, I mean, because I was bored. I was going to junior college after I graduated, but I was still bored. So I went half-time back so I could work at the office and stuff and still see everybody. So, yeah, it was like that for me. So I'm little. I'm not as little as I used to be, but I was very little then there. So everything they put on us just fell off. I had to tie it on my waist and stuff until they got my uniform altered. It was something else. Then, of course, we had to pay for those, by the way. I don't know what they do now. I hate the uniforms I got now. They looked like they slept in them for a week and never saw an iron. Ours were starched and dressed right, man. They would come out and measure your breasts. Make sure it was an inch from where it was supposed to be, that it was not green. You had polished it. You better see your face in your boots. You better polish them. Those uniforms have to be starched back in our day. And we used to use a piece of cardboard to hold it down after we used these little green braids to roll them up and give them that cuff look above the boot. So they came over the top of the boot, but just and you had to do all that right. Wake your ass up at 2 a.m. all the time. You might sleep every other day, a couple hours. It was rough. I loved it. I really did. I loved it. And then I heard in all these years later that the women were not training like the men because they were a different type of body frame. And so the exercising and things, I heard this from my grandson because he went active duty because grandma wore army boots, bless his heart. Went to Korea. When he came home, he was done. He's now a veteran. I don't blame him. And so, yeah, I was like, yeah, that's the way it was. And then I heard not long ago, we have a young lady who's now a pilot. I think it's for the Blue Angels. I think it's what it was. So it's amazing to me because that's not the way it was. And this was the 70s. So I'm a hippie. And I've had a lot of fun in my life. And I've had fun knocking down those doors. And believe me, those doors had to be knocked down from the top to the bottom. It was a mess. And I enjoyed every bit of it. I still do. Retired. Enjoying doing the podcast thing. Got the accident thing going on. didn't, said, okay, I just can't do anything. I couldn't move. And so when you can't move, you really can't do all this. So when I could finally get on my feet again, a couple of years later, I'm like, it's kind of unique because I'm at home, I'm at the bar, and I had quite a few viewers. And now I'm up here, I have one subscription, guys, bleeding heart time. I'm just saying. And even that, I got one subscription and they're still blocking my shit. It's like, what? It's like I have 15 million people was going to see something I said that they didn't want said in a certain thing in a certain way. Well, that ain't free speech. When they sit out there and they protect Palestinians wearing Palestinian paraphernalia with their scarves and their flags while burning my flag, I got a problem with that. A little bit. Now, what I would like to do if I had the power to do that, they frown on those things. So it's a good thing I'm really not in power. No politics. When I was growing up, you didn't talk about politics or religion. I tended to talk about politics. For one thing, I can't get over what the absolute fuck all is going on in my country. What the absolute fuck all. It's been a clusterfuck. We had Weekend at Bernie's for fucking 4 years. So who was running that puppet besides Dr. Jill? Who was running the puppet? Anybody, sign hands. I got time. We all know it's Obama. We know. We know a lot of things about that. I think it cost Joan Rivers her life when she said, it's Michael. His name's Michael. It's not Michelle. It was a man. She was dead a few weeks later. One of those conspiracy things. They'll probably block it for that too. But I'm not the only one who thought that. I heard her when she said it. I love Joan Rivers to death. Crazy lady. Did a lot of surgeries like Dolly Parton. If there's a good song, Dolly Parton has to call him and make a song with him. She can't. That girl everywhere. You want to buy pancake mix, Dolly Parton's there. Like, girlfriend, you need to retire now. Plus, people say when you retire, that's the end for you. It's not. I am busier now that I've retired than I ever was. And I worked either 2 jobs in school or school and 1 job and single parent. And, so none of that was breezy. I mean, there's no, I hear people do this all the time. Oh, they blame this and they blame that. I was adopted at 9 by parents who were World War I, Depression, World War II. These people saw everything. They had every fruit tree you could name and grow, and Chicago was growing in our yard. We had plums and pears and peaches and cherries. I mean, we had it all. They had the big garden, and they'd all get together and they'd can and stuff like that. We I wish I'd paid more attention, but kids in my day were to be seen and not heard. We were basically not even seen. You were thrown outside. If you fell and you cut your leg open and you squirt blood, they just said, here's a Band-Aid, use some mercurochrome, stuck you back outside. You did not go to the doctor. They do not use mercurochrome anymore, but I've seen it pop up on Google once in a while. That shit would burn the fuck out of you. They insisted on you doing that. And it turned it pink. And if you didn't do it, they were over there slapping around. So you might as well do it yourself. Save up so much, Stepped on a board one time, nail right went through the foot. And my aunt carried me inside. We were all playing with water balloons and water hoses, and I stepped on the board. The nail went straight through. And the board was still on my foot, underneath my foot. And we came in, the mother fainted at the sight of the blood. She was gone. And the aunt laid me down. And the uncles came over. They both been in the Navy and during World War II. They came over. They jerked it out, threw a pressure bandage on that sucker real quick, found a shoe they could put on me, and sent me back outside. And they would send the aunt out every hour or so to take a look, change the bandage. And I had, my bedroom was upstairs, man. You still had to climb upstairs. You did not catch a break when I was growing up. And there was none of that sassing, as they would have put it, none of that back talk. Slap the piss out you. You wouldn't even see it coming. You just know you was hit when you woke up. They need to return to that. My kids will tell you, "Oh no, don't do that to mom. Don't even bow up at mom." My son did it once. He didn't do it twice, but he did do it once. Grandson did too. He did it once. He didn't do it again. And they still think it's a funny story because they didn't think grandma would do that. And I love my grandkids, of course, they love me too. But you don't take sass, as my parents would have said. That just did not walk. And it didn't matter to them if it was the parents, if it was an aunt, if it was the grocery store clerk. If they were 19 and you were 13 and you sassed them back, you got in shit when you got home. It was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and that was it. Okay, so I was good for the army, regular army. I had no trouble with any of it. I loved the shit out of it. And it turned out after we all graduated, we all made it. And which was great because it was a whole battalion, not just us. Um, so, and you don't forget those things either, but they came up to us. You could go to the bowling alley and have drinks on Sunday. They had beer. So you could bowl and have a drink because basically Sunday was your only day off. And this was still at Fort Jackson. And they came up to us and they said, "You didn't break. We thought we could break you. And you didn't break," and shook our hands. We were all drunk. They joined us. And it was kind of like fraternization rule there, broke a little bit. You're not supposed to really do that. So we had a lot of fun. And we did find that we had done a good job. And so I was real disappointed to hear that they had backslacked that. I don't want one of them in my foxhole then. No, if you're not a soldier, if you're not a trained soldier, the same as the next guy, don't get in my foxhole. Don't get in my company. I don't even want to know you're in the same section of country that I'm in. No. Go back and retrain that bitch. I mean, how do you do it? I mean, and back then the radios weighed 80 pounds. So I weighed 88 pounds. You should see me carrying that. We have a little bit of winter up here in this house. It's a nice little chapstick, but it glows. I like that. But yeah, so that's kind of me in a nutshell. A little bit crazy, a little bit funny, I think. So let's see. Anybody out there seen any good ghosts lately? Oh man, I lived at my husband's mother's house after she died, and we kind of inherited it, and I didn't like that city. It was hell. It was, swear to God, every time I went there just to visit, it was like being in hell. So I didn't want to be there. So after about a year or so, I ended up here and I've stayed here. So it wasn't just Georgia that I hated. It was just this section. But his parents bought this house, and it was a very old house. It's 130 years old or something like that. So all the wiring had to be redone, air conditioning put in, and all this stuff. And we got all that painted and roofed, and it had good bones though. Back then they used a lot of concrete, but just wood, and stuck with the wood floors. Maybe they could be, restored. So all that went great. And then his father started waking us up. Swear to God, his father had been passed on for like 7, 8 years, and you'd hear him come down the hallway, "Get your ass up, boys." Yeah. They also did not believe that once the sun come up, you needed to have been up and had a piece of toast or whatever you was having. Because back when I grew up, they just started breakfast cereals. Breakfast used to be like leftover dinners, or you could have toast, maybe in an egg, a slice of bacon. On Sundays, you'd have the big dinner, or the big breakfast and dinner. Had the roast dinner on Sundays, loved those. And of course, you get the gravy and the biscuits and the eggs and the pancakes and all of that for Sunday mornings. And so we all look forward to that. But that's something you had every day. Maybe you make you some oatmeal if you had time to go before you went to school. And I went through mine so fast. I was home. I was home early. I used to go to lunch at 10:30 in the morning because I would be at class by 7 a.m. And so I was back home, at 12:30, done with school. And then I would do all the chores at home. And you wouldn't believe how hard it is to pick fruit from trees or tomatoes or, oh God, it's always something. But they were great people. And they were great to take me and my sister in. I was 9, she was 7. And of course, I enlisted and was gone by the time I was 17 because they signed the papers to allow me to go early. It had to be 18, of course. I think it should be mandatory. One of the things I had pressed my grandson on, do ROTC. Do ROTC. If you don't go in, just at least do ROTC. Learn to be respectful, learn how to be an adult. And you can do that real nicely, through here. And if you want, you can go in for 3 years and they will pay you. They will give you clothing. They will give you food. They will give you your housing. And your check can be sent home, or you go out and you use it as a tourist, whatever. It's a great thing, you have that job, you have that security. You can't just walk out of high school and do that. Even with junior college behind me, I have one here that we have rescue cats, mainly outside. And a few have just walked into the house. Penny, 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 pick them up. They're upset because I'm running late today. I ran off to the store, but I didn't go till 1:30. And it was bumper cars at the Walmart parking lot. It was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. I went around like 3 times and ended up parking at the hotel beside it. Screw it, I just walk up here. And I got a lot of comments on the gown and stuff. It amazes me that everywhere I go, people say that to me all the time. They'll stop me, men and women. Will say, I had one guy walk past me this afternoon, said, and stopped and turned around and said, "You smell delightful. I hope I don't hurt. I'm not trying to, I was like, well, no, thank you very much." It's white diamonds. Liz Taylor, tell your girlfriend, tell your wife, So I get stuff like that all the time. One woman stopped. I was going this way. She's coming this way. She just dead stopped. And I thought, oh, no. She's a big black girl. And I thought, what did I do? I'm pushing this car. I'm the worst driver with a car. And she says, "You look beautiful. Where did you have to go? What are you doing today? Where did you get that?" So I get things like that all the time, which amuses me because, like I said, when I grew up, you put on play clothes, or you put on school clothes, or you put on church clothes, or if there were, adults coming, if something was going on, you had dress clothes, you had play clothes, and there was no dividing that. If you went outside and you were dressed in your Easter Sunday best, you should be standing there and doing nothing. You could talk. You could not play. You had to wait for them, everybody to trickle out to get to the church. I used to love that stuff. And no, I can't say I believe in organized religion. One of the things that was told to us for the end of times to watch for was that there would be a false church. There would be false preachers. There would be a false prophet. There would be false blooming everything. The one thing I couldn't get, and they kept throwing me out of churches. You'd have homeless people. You got people who aren't eating. And there are some things that they put together, food banks and so forth, but they're not run by the church. Not one that I've seen in any state or country that I've lived in. And I'm not that young. And I've been everywhere, just about. I have seen a lot of the planet. And yes, there are areas that will help. Even more so now, Europe has been just bloody overrun, just like we were. You can't have 22 million, and if you got 22 million and you check the gotaways, you probably have 40 million walk across the border in 4 years. Now they wanted our people who are in the military. They were supposed to take these booster shots, these COVID shots. They didn't want to because I watched one nurse walk up, get the shot, stood up, smiled, and said, "That's fine." Made it 30 feet before she hit the floor. And I mean, face first hit the floor. Woman was gone when she landed and bounced when she hit. Several children had reactions that took them into autism, and some of them had brain damage. And I was like, you've got all these people crossing. You don't even know if they had a measles freaking shot, When I went into the military, you even had to do a TB test, a tuberculosis test. Before you went in actually to where you were billeted at. So you were still running through and getting checks and things like this in uniforms and all that stuff. The portrait where they threw the hat on you and smile, you were up for 3 days, and I looked like a Girl Scout missing cookies. Wasn't that cute? I went out and had a professional one done. It was worse. I finally had somebody take a picture. I thought it was okay. So it's like one, little, one of those Polaroids. Yeah, we had that stuff. You had to take your film in, and I'm running through the Louvre. I got 17 rolls. You got to take it in. They didn't have no hour shit. I said you get back to you in about 5 weeks, and you'd pay 68.18 for them, and there were three pictures you could almost see. They'd still print the bad ones. You just couldn't see nothing. It was black. Now you can take them and look. It's an awesome time that we live in. And the differences between these things is what I end up talking about the most, I think, up here. And how the fact is that I almost don't recognize my own child and my own grandchildren. They are absolutely Trump haters. I'm not. As far as voting, I'm going to put it like this, and you can Google it. It says even there, the Electoral College is who elects the United States president, and they vote before the popular vote. And as Trump said, he won the electoral vote, but he also won the popular vote. Well, what's the electoral? Why are they there? Why are we voting? One of us doesn't need to be. And now they hear they're redistricting states so that they can get delegates here and delegates there. Why? Do you need some more from Somali so they can tell how all of us are just terrible? I haven't seen anything good about somebody who's white, whether they be like me, British, Irish, Scottish, indentured slaves, all of us. But no, no, no. It was just, hey, white's a freaking color. Check out the crayon box. Again, they'll probably get me for this and say it's racist. It's not. It's not racist. It's racist on the other side. It's reverse racism. Have you? These people were all Somalian in Minnesota. I wanted somebody to go out there and tell me how many regular United States people that had been born in Minnesota, say third generation, how many of them were still there? I'm curious. And why would you stick Somalians in Minnesota? What happened there? I didn't hear about that until all of this graft took place. And yet the citizens aren't being given their rights to say you can't do this. Now, I don't know if I moved into a parallel version. I don't know if I don't remember History 101. I think I did because I keep looking it up. Mind you, the Constitution was written on one fucking page, guys. These people make a freaking bill now, and it's 56,433,023 fucking pages long. It's one bill. Takes them 17 years to get it through, if it's any good, and it's not. Then I put so much of all the other shit in there. I know. I served in D.C. too. It's corrupt as you could be. It's amazing. That's why they tried to kill Trump already. He's a businessman. He's not a politician. There's a big difference. Apparently, a politician, and I've met many. I used to go have drinks with him at the Watergate Hotel of all places. You'd just get off work and you'd end up there. I was very high at GS and top level, and worked, believe it or not, for the Treasury Department. I mean, the Agricultural Department, and we were the ones that instituted the food stamps, designed them, all of that. So I was in on the ground floor of that. I'm so proud of that one. Until they fucked it up and decided everybody but the guys laying in the streets that were, got one leg because they were shot at in Fallujah. They don't need a hotel room. That guy from Guadalajara does. How are New Yorkers doing, I wonder? I really wonder. How are they doing? Because they were doing pretty bad. They were doing the hit and run and burn things down after you take everything on every store that was in New York. I think they had a Target left. It just, there was, they were driving by on their scooters, and they all somehow could afford phones and scooters, but they were refugees at a hotel because they had nowhere to go. But they could have scooters and phones and, and drugs, and they sell the shit right in front of the store they stole it from. Cashless bail. How'd that work out for you? The citizens, I mean. I'm absolutely curious. I would love to hear from you. I watch Cash Jordan Hayloft a lot. I like him a lot. He does some great videos. And it's amazing what's going on in New York and Seattle and Chicago. Cheers, mates. I know somebody else that has opinion besides me. You can throw it in live chat, do the comments. I probably knew some of you. Probably raised up together, at least the same way. They didn't mess around in our generations. And we didn't mess around. So now I can't figure out why my kids and grandkids are like nuts. As far as I'm concerned, they're off the wall nuts. Let's see. I have, what is it? Oh, there's my husband. He always does this when I'm on my podcast. Yes, dear.
I got a photo, Mom.
Hey, what do you need?
No, I'm just letting you know I'm gonna be leaving in a little bit. No, I gotta take that lady back that I took her to yesterday, and I'm gonna pick up the other stuff while I'm out.
Okay, thank you, darling. Guys, I'm about to wrap up in about 15 minutes. So, live chat's been on fire today. I see everybody's enjoying the damn day. We got 75 degrees up out here. We're having a great time with it. It's just amazing. Let's see. I was going to tell you something. I forget now what it was. This is why I need y'all on live chat. Say something. I need to get my friends and let all of them know that I hadn't even been on Facebook in 2 years. I literally couldn't do anything. Then once I got up and was able to do stuff and go through rehabilitation and do all this stuff, I'm just so happy to be able to walk and drive and things again without equipment and people. And for a year, I couldn't move. Literally could not move. It was bad. I was a very active person. And this injury that I suffered seems to have, it added, I was shocked to see how much more gray I had. I had bags under my eyes. I didn't have any of that before. Yeah, I'm not a young bird, but, I didn't have any of it. So I could see that it had been a battle. You could see on my face. But I won. So I'm just a little meaner. And at the airport, when I go by, going to the VA, we have a small airport. And I have so much metal that, when I drive by, lights go on, sirens are in, and somebody with a on the telegraph. It's just me. I see you. So I enjoy going to the VA just to see the light show. And that is Fast Walker. He's my photo bomber. Every time I do a podcast, no, now Penny's yelling at me. We have rescued so many. They've thrown them out in garbage bags. They've thrown out mothers with 5 or 6 kittens in the rain and the freezing cold. It's just pathetic what people do. And we just can't see anything suffer. So we've got tents up with heaters, mostly for my plants, because the hurricane, which came 2 weeks after I got so injured, took out my hothouse. So I've lost a lot of my plants, but that was okay because I put things down in there, cushions and blankets and food and water. So that's, they can get in there and they can eat and, be warm and out of the rains and stuff. And my husband built kind of a shelter, kind of a garage type thing. So we keep heaters in there too. So it's like every cat on the block. People know this that live here. They say, we'll see you guys coming home with groceries, and we see cats coming from everywhere. And they do, because they know they're going to get fed. Because usually I have to feed them between 3 and 4. That's when I do that. So they'll have some sleep and a full belly. And there are some days when I have only 3. And then some days I'll look and there's 5 more kittens and a new mom. And we just don't know. They're here. And I think I should do one of those nonprofit things because they make a lot of money. I don't know how they do that, but I'd like to find out because we spend quite a bit. We spend at least $300 a month to feed all of them. And for the indoor cats, make sure that they have sanitary conditions and they see the vet and, they have litter boxes and all that. So all those things are expensive. And even just the outdoors. The extra $100 a month on the light bill for heaters and stuff like that. The good thing is we live in Georgia and it's 75 degrees today, so that could all be turned off. The bad thing is I didn't get home till 2:40 with all the groceries, and they mobbed me as I came home. There's 3 moms and there's 6 kittens. There's 2 big males, and there's another 3 bigger cats that aren't. They're like teenage cats. They've grown up from kittens here, and they don't let us get near them. We can't pet them or anything, but they run to us, but they stay just out of reach. And I think they're smart because humans are just awful. I hear some things that just break my heart. How could anyone do something to a defenseless anything? Bad enough that what we do to each other. It's just, man's inhumanity to mankind. I don't get it. We hippies love everything and everybody. You get hurt, say in an accident, you go off to the hospital, and I've run hospital departments in the Army and as a civilian, and I ain't yet seen anybody running in there that needed to have some transfusions of blood to live long enough to get surgery say, I got to have that one over there that's from Pakistan, or I got to have that one that's from, Somalia. Or so what's going on? This never used to happen. It's ridiculous. We all bleed red. If you're in this fucking country, you wanted to be here. Most of you lied and married brothers and so forth. Yeah, I don't like her. Like I said, when I was in History 101, from what I remember, you had to be a United States born citizen. You had to be born here in order to run or be in Congress or government. I was in government for a long time, a long, long time. And it was right after I kind of got out back to civil service, and I was backing out, getting ready to retire, when ape shit hit the fan. I was like, what's going on here? Seattle's committing sedition. Chicago's committing sedition. Minnesota's committing outright treason. You got a senator who's a retired captain who's out there telling soldiers don't follow orders. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Even as a veteran, and I talk to all the veterans, my care has always been the VA for all these decades. And we're all like, what the fuck? Are we supposed to shoot these people? No. Let's get somebody to tell us again. If you're in a battlefield, for God's sake, you don't have time to do anything but take orders and defend yourself and your buddies. That's how it plays. It's war. It's not a fucking game. It's not, oh, we have to play by the rules. We'll let 10 of our guys die and just injure you and let you go. So, yeah, I bet they'll go ahead and say, you can't say that either. This is why I do say it. I hope that I actually get out there and that there's more people like me, and they come up and they say, you're right. This isn't supposed to be. We're not supposed to have people from Pakistan or Palestine or Somalia as Congress. They should not be members of Congress. All they do is tell, and this is, they love to be on whatever version of the legacy media, as it's now called, to say how bad Americans are, how ugly white people are, how atrociously white people are, how much money white people should give other people. It's ridiculous. And yet they speak. What the hell? I haven't watched MSNBC, NBC, CBS, ABC, not even PBS in a decade or more. And I miss him. I miss Walter Cronkite, for God's sake. I'd like to still know how the fuck they pulled off the phone call from Nixon, President Nixon, to the guys on the moon. And man, they were charging me a long distance if I called down the block. I swear to God. I mean, this was 1998, okay? I done had a cell phone since 89. They beat the shit out of our wallets for those cell phones. And my husband insisted that I have a cell phone, which he changed like every 2 years. Annoyed the absolute shit out of me. Then they went to the smartphones. Well, it's a phone. People are mad at me all the time. They say, "You never answer your voicemail. Your voicemail is always full. You don't check your messages." No, I don't. It's a fucking phone. And I take it, I have to have it everywhere my husband panics. And he's 70. And so it's got me almost conditioned to where I have to, and it's the last thing I do is make sure I have my phone. And I've transitioned to smaller purses because of the injury. I used to carry like a half ton bag, a duffel bag size purse, man. And I've learned that you really don't need all that. An ID, maybe a lipstick, you're good. I don't even put a mirror in there. Like somebody will have a surface. I'm old. We adapt well. So come out here, talk to me. Tell me what you want to talk about. It could be ghosts. It could be the Senate. Like I was telling you when the Watergate Hotel was still there and I used to go and drink with the senator. I won't mention names. But we all, back then it was martinis and a Valium for lunch. It was, I swear to God, that's where the mother-in-law was. And I worked with her. She had been the secretary to the governor of Ohio twice. And then she was running the state agriculture, and we were doing the food stamp program, learning it while inventing it. And we don't get credit for that, trust me. So, I mean, my name's not up there going, this is who did this. History will never know, you know? We barely had anything up there to show that I'm afraid that's going to get stuck. That we ever worked there. I think I still may have a check stub somewhere. Things have gone so crazy.